Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Plan Commission ARB for November 17th. If you have any electronic gadgets, please silence them at this time. Ryan?
Steve Lichtenfeld,
Here?
Ellen DeFate,
Here.
Susan Buse,
Here.
Jim Arsenault,
Here.
Christopher Brennan,
Here.
Jeremy Cobb.
Okay, we have minutes from the previous meeting on November 3rd. Are there any changes? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this point, we will have an open forum for anyone in the audience that would like to speak on something pertaining to the Plan Commission ARB, but not pertaining to anything on the agenda tonight. So if you'd like to, please fill out a card, which I think is on the podium, and hand it to either Anna or Ryan. Also, any speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Okay, I don't see anyone coming up, so we'll move on. We have no old business. We'll move into new business. The first item is 8029 Rosalind Drive. Is the applicant here? Okay, just hold on. We'll start with the staff report.
Okay.
Subject property is located on the north side of Roslyn between South Merrimack and South Brentwood. The property is zoned R2 and is in the Davis Place subdivision. The property is developed with a 2-story single-family house. The project includes the construction of a 2nd story above an existing addition, which would comprise of siding. The architecture review guidelines consider siding as secondary material and limit it to no more than 25% of a facade. The increased use of siding would exceed the permitted limit. Applicant is seeking approval for the use of siding on the residential addition. Siding is common on additions nearby and would match the existing siding on the house. Staff are of the opinion that the expanded use of siding would have a minimal visual impact and recommend approval as submitted.
Okay, would you like to add anything? And first, identify yourself, name and address.
Good evening. My name is Steve Hollander. I am the architect on the project, 519 First Capitol Drive in St. Charles, Missouri.
Anything to add?
No, I think the staff report is pretty complete. The owner is wishing to expand above an existing 1-story addition and add a 2nd floor bedroom and infill some of the windows on the lower level to add more privacy to the 1st floor. That's the essence of the project.
Well,
happy to answer any questions.
okay. I live in the neighborhood, so I've seen that house and all the changes it's gone through. I certainly agree with the staff report. I don't see any problem with it, even with going with the siding material. So I'm okay. But Helen?
I do have a question. Are you demolishing the existing sunroom?
No, the existing sunroom will be remaining. It's covered. The existing addition that was there, which was the enclosure of the sunroom, is remaining, and we're just decreasing the size of the windows that are in that 1st floor for added privacy.
Okay. No, then I have no problems.
Susan?
Hi.
Hi.
I was actually concerned with the amount of siding, being we do have a standard, and this is so far for the one facade so far off from that. And had it been proposed when that first sunroom wasn't closed for the entire 2 stories, I suspect it might not have been approved, although that's water under the bridge. It's already happened. But it is a different look in the neighborhood. And looking at the standards that we have, this is a pretty big variance from that. But I am looking forward to hearing what people have to say as well.
Jim?
I can say I'm usually the very anti-vinyl siding person. I will say I didn't quite notice at first that the windows are all going to be replaced. So all the siding that's on there right now is going to have to be replaced anyway, correct?
The siding would have to be replaced, yes. Well, for the most part, we're infilling and they'll have to patch it in, but yes.
Okay. I would much prefer hardy or another material. In this case, I can understand overall, and I think I can live with it. I would prefer another material other than vinyl siding if possible, though.
Chris?
My preference would be for something like hardy siding or hardy plank as well. But with cost considerations, I didn't find it necessarily objectionable. I do wonder if it's a bit of a slippery slope because it is a 53% for the siding. I do see that. And so it is a greater variance than I think we've seen before. Were there considerations given to something like a hardy plank?
No, they were planning on infilling. From my understanding, the owner had requested that they be infilled with the same material.
I would personally would prefer it, but I also know that you live in the neighborhood. And if you don't find that it's objectionable and you live there, then I would give deference to the chairman in this case.
Darren? Okay. Any comments from the audience? We do? Okay. Okay, Karen Murphy, do you hear us? Unmute. Karen, do you hear us? If you do, oh, the hand is gone. Okay. Chris, to respond to what you said, we don't have much siding in the neighborhood, but this house has always had the siding on that little one-story addition. And in reading it, if they were going to reuse most of it, I really had no problem with it. And also looking at it from the street, the bulk of the house is brick. And it's just that the brick is now matching the color of the siding. So I think it'll be okay. Any further comments?
I imagine the cost difference is pretty, is it significant if you went with something aside from the vinyl siding?
In regards to like a hardy board or something like that, yeah, the hardy board is, easily double the cost of the vinyl siding.
Thanks.
Okay, no other hand didn't come back. No. Okay, we do have a staff recommendation to recommend approval as submitted. Oh, she did. Okay. Karen, do you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can now. Thank you.
I just wanted to clarify that the existing siding is hardy board, and that is what is proposed to be used.
Would you like to answer that?
I'll disagree, but if they want to go with the hardy board, I'm happy to do that. That's fine.
That's what was proposed in our bid from the general contractor.
Okay, that's news to me, but okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Steve, would we need to make an amendment to because it calls out vinyl on the plans?
Yeah. Yes, we need to make an amendment that the siding will be all hardy board.
No problem.
And do we have a motion?
I move to approve with the amendment that the siding will be hardy board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, and that's 7401 Maryland Avenue. Is the applicant here? or online.
Hi, can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Meg Blaze. I'm the designer with Dana King. I am representing the applicant Paul Bassett, our project manager.
Okay, and that's for 7401 Maryland, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, we'll get started with the staff report.
Subject property is on the north side of Maryland, east of the street's intersection with North Jackson. The property is zoned R2 and is developed with a two-story single-family house. The project consists of renovations to the rear facade of the house, which replaces a series of doors and windows with a combination of new doors, windows, and siding. Per the architectural review guidelines, siding is a secondary material and may comprise no more than 25% of a facade. The existing rear facade comprises approximately 25% siding, and the proposal would increase the siding to approximately 53%. The applicant is seeking approval for the increased use of siding on the rear facade. The siding would replace windows and doors and would not result in a lesser quantity of the primary material brick. Additionally, the rear yard is largely screened by greenery. Staff are of the opinion that the proposed use of siding will have a minimal visual impact.
Okay, Meg, do you have anything to add?
I think that that's an accurate representation of the application. I do want to just note that on these plans, we do have the covered deck shown here, which is still to be determined if they're going to complete at this time. So it would be the plan that is proposed and shown in elevation 2 on page A9. That would be the correct elevation. The rendering at the top left of that page shows with the covered deck, which we may still do, but we're just not doing right at this moment.
Okay, so I think everyone can see the elevation 2 in the lower right corner up on the screen. And it's removing the deck in the upper left corner.
That's correct.
Okay. Meg, while you're at it, could you go over any of the new materials? It looks like you're doing windows and other things.
Yeah, we have all Pella Lifestyle Series aluminum clad wood windows and doors, and the siding material is going to be an LP pre-finished or LP Smart Side pre-finished lap siding. What she has on the garage, which she completed about 2 years ago, the converted garage on the right there, that is a hardy board, but we prefer the LP Smart Side, but it's very similar looking to the siding that's on the garage.
Okay. It'll all be white, is that correct?
Yes, and that's the siding that's existing on the right side of the converted garage is all white, as well as the gable at the top of the two-story addition that's existing is also white siding.
And what you're proposing with the LP material will also be pre-finished white?
Yes, sir, that's accurate.
Does it match the hardy board?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay, I think it would be good if we approve this, that you submit the LP siding and hopefully a piece of the hardy board to see that it does match.
Would a photograph of the two next to each other suffice?
No, we'd rather have it submitted to the staff.
Okay, so you would prefer that we remove a piece of the siding from the rec room from the converted garage? Is that what you're asking?
No, not necessarily. You can, I'm sure you can access a small sample of the hardy board.
The project was completed a few years ago, and I don't believe the client has any spare materials, so we would just need to buy new. So that would be similar. We wouldn't be able to confirm that it's the exact same.
Well, we don't expect it to be the exact same. In your design practice, you can probably get a small sample very easily without having to pay for it.
So you're just talking about like a color chip?
That's all.
Oh,
Mhm.
I understand. I thought you were meaning a large sample of
No.
the two. Okay, gotcha. So you're just concerned about the color being the same as the white on the garage, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, yes, we can make sure to submit a sample of that.
Okay. That's all I had. Helen?
I do have a question on sheet A4, the exterior elevation east.
Yes, we have a small amount of siding that will be infilling below it's currently a full height window. That is a small gangway between her house and her neighbor's house, where you really can't see it because she has if you see off to the bottom left of E1, you can see there's a covered deck over there. So it's not visible from the street, and paying a mason to infill that small portion would be easily triple, if not quadruple, the cost of just infilling with a small amount of siding below the new window.
Have you considered doing a full height window and then, for privacy on the inside, drapes, blinds, shades, shutters?
It doesn't work as well in the layout of the furniture to have a full height window there.
Okay. Excuse me, that was my only concern. The rest of it looks fine. It's just that elevation, that infill it takes away from everything else you've done.
Do you
So,
think if we picked a siding that was closer to the color of the brick, it would be less offensive?
no. It stands out like an afterthought. And obviously you're putting money, the owner is putting money into this. So that's my only
Yes,
comment.
the owner is putting a significant amount of money into
Yeah.
this home to make the layout work for the best of what this house can do for the neighborhood. So this was a small concession to getting some other more favorable outcomes on the interior.
Susan?
Once again, we have a standard siding, and this is significantly off from that. And one question I had, though, was in the staff report, it says that given that would not replace primary material and the rear yard is largely screened by greenery. Is the greenery going to be staying even if the second part of the project is done with the porch, or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was no greenery that was impacted by the covered deck. The covered deck would actually be replacing where they previously had a wood deck. The wood deck was falling apart and they removed it about 2 years ago when they did their garage conversion. And so we were essentially just putting a slightly larger deck where there already was a deck. So no, we wouldn't be affecting any of the greenery that's surrounding the property.
Okay, and then I'll just ask staff, is there's nothing in here to ensure that the greenery will stay, and the way the report is written, that's one of the conditions why you thought the additional siding worked well. Do you have anything to help me on that one?
Correct. There's no regulation that would require them to maintain the greenery there unless the scope of work that they did in the future triggered site plan review.
Okay, thanks, that's all.
Jim?
First, I would just want to say, it's my understanding that LP SmartSide is a paintable material, and that's the main difference between LP SmartSide and Hardy. So matching it to the current building shouldn't be a problem, as far as they should be able to color match it without having to go with something stock. Also, as far as the plan goes, this is a case where I think it actually makes sense to go above the 75% primary material because white LP Smart Side or white siding is what exists already on this house for the most part. And basically, as staff is saying, this isn't an addition where they could use any material. They're taking out windows and doors and infilling material in there. And honestly, coming up with, I think, a much more pleasant plan in its place. So I'm overall good with it on this one.
Chris?
My only concern would be the lifespan of the LP siding versus that of hardy. I know that the lifespan is not as long and does require more maintenance. I think there's a big difference between the rendering that does show that covered porch, which is pretty cool looking. And then the rendering where it doesn't, it's obviously much more evident that it is a large expanse of siding. But as staff has called out, it really doesn't affect the overall placement of the bricks since due to the expansion. I think it ties in nicely with the garage. My only concern would be the longevity of the LP siding, but I'm not extremely familiar with the material either, so.
Darren? Okay. Any comments from the audience? Or any hands up? Okay. Well, we've gone through it. We do have a staff recommendation to approve as submitted. Are there any other comments before we go ahead?
No, I am wondering, the greenery that we talked about, is it evergreen? But is it, I did not drive by the house, so I don't know what it looks like in the back there.
I did go by. It's a mixture of evergreen and deciduous, but if I remember correctly, more deciduous.
A landscaping expert, so I'm sorry, I can't really speak too much.
Helen, I would add I would agree with Steve that I'd like to see staff review the materials before final approval.
Yes. Okay.
May I be able to ask a question at this point? I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I had just had a question. If you were considering waiting on the approval to see the sample, we were hoping to begin demo tomorrow. Would we be able to at least get a demo permit to make sure that our project can move forward as scheduled?
Do you have your, so we don't issue separate demolition permits for this scope of work. Demolition should be covered under your building permit. That will also show how you're reconstructing the openings.
So are you saying that we'll need to delay the start of construction until we can get a sample of the material?
It's not the construction, so they could make a motion and still approve this and provide for staff to review the sample before you get your building permit. You will need a building permit to actually construct this project.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. To do any of the inspections, we understand. Yes.
Right. So you need your building permit before you start work. We
Right.
don't do separate demolition permits for this scope. Those are only for when you're taking down the entire structure.
Okay. We should be able to get a sample within the next couple of days.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you shouldn't start work until you have your building permit.
Understood.
Anything else, Meg?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve as submitted with the submission of materials to the staff for their approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Meg.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Okay, we'll move on to items 3, 4, and 5, and they are 304 North Central Avenue. And we'll be doing a minor subdivision plat first, followed by the site plan review, and then the architectural review. So with that, we'll hand it over to Ryan.
Subject property is located on the northeast corner of the intersection of North Central and Kingsbury. The property is zoned R3 and is developed with a 1.5-story single-family house. The project includes the demolition of the existing house, subdivision of the lot into 2 lots, and the construction of a new single-family house on the southern lot, also known as Lot B. A minor subdivision plat must meet the zoning requirements for which the subject property is zoned and must not result in any nonconformities. Staff are of the opinion that the proposed lots are in conformance with the R3 requirements and are consistent with lots in the surrounding area. Staff recommend that this board recommend approval to the City Council with the following conditions. 1, that the signature block be revised to reflect the current mayor. 2, that the applicant provides a Mylar with surveyor signatures and the property owner's signatures for the appropriate City of Clayton signatures per the subdivision ordinance requirements of the City Council approval. 3, that the applicant files the plat with the St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds office prior to approval for a building permit. And that 4, the applicant shall apply for a demolition permit of the primary structure on the subject property within 6 months of approval of the subdivision by the City Council.
Thank you. Who's going to speak?
Evening, Eric Vietmeyer with Vols Incorporated. We are the surveyors of record for this proposed subdivision plat. Really don't have anything to add to what Ryan has gone through through his staff report, but more than happy to answer any questions.
Well, on the staff report, both lots A and B are over the minimum size.
Correct.
And basically, that's all we really are looking at for the minor subdivision of this. So.
Yes, we were trying to avoid any need for any rezoning at all.
Good. Okay, that was my only comment. Ellen?
No, the 50-foot width is typical of the neighborhood, so sounds good.
Susan? Jim?
No issues or comments?
Chris?
No issues.
Darren?
Nope.
Any comments from the audience? Kathleen, come on up.
Subdivision?
This is the minor subdivision plat, dividing the one property into 2. Oh,
Hello, my name is Kathleen Gund. I live at 329 North Bemiston. And I have a concern, which seems kind of weird because I'm like 6 houses up on a street that's next to it. So I would just like the Plan Commission board to realize that what I'm concerned about is stormwater. And this is at the top of the hill. And the way the water runs, it runs kind of like back towards the back of the property. And then it goes between Central and Bemiston, and it kind of goes from the east side of Central down the back of the west side of Bemiston. So I'm at the bottom of the hill, and when you're looking at the site plan, it starts out with about 15,000 square feet with the 2 lots, and there's about 33% impervious area currently. So when you're looking at the plans for 304, Nancy and Michael, who are great neighbors, and I love the house, all that other kind of stuff, they're pretty far underneath what they could do on the southern facing lot. But I just want you to consider the fact that the reason they're asking for the subdivision is so that the northern piece will be developed as well. So assuming the northern piece will be, because it's smaller, will be out to as much as they can get, we're looking at probably an increase of about 2,000 square feet of additional impervious area. So we're going from, about 5,000 impervious when you're looking at the 2 lots together to probably about over 7,000 impervious when you're looking at their site plan and what will probably go in Lot B. So I just wanted to kind of please think about that. So I've lived at 329 North Bemiston for 16 years, and every single time another house goes up on the east side of Central, the river that comes down our backyard just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Now, we're very lucky because it doesn't affect our house. So I feel a little weird complaining about it, but like we can't put mulch in the back of our backyard. It has to be stones because everything just runs down the hill. So the river is just getting bigger and bigger for every infill house that goes on the east side of Central. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank?
My name is Frank Hackman. My wife and I live at 314 North Central. With regard to the subdivision, we have no objection.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Any online? Okay. Okay, right now we're just talking about the minor subdivision plat, taking the roughly 15,000 square foot lot and dividing it into two separate lots. And let's see, Eric or Lauren, you're aware of all these staff recommendations?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comment?
No, if everything is approved, I was planning on taking the staff recommendation letter to my surveyors in the morning and have them make the minor little revisions. We'll get them to Mike and Nancy and get that back to city staff as soon as we can.
Okay. Well, then let's see if we can pull together a motion to the city council.
Okay, I move to recommend approval to the city council with the 4 staff recommendations.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We will move on to item 4, which is still 304 North Central, but here's where we'll be talking about the site plan review. And Kathleen, we will address the water at this point. Ryan?
So a full analysis of site plan review can be found in the staff report, and I'm going to go over some of those key points. Trash storage and HVAC and impervious coverage as proposed are in conformance with the requirements of the R3 district. Stormwater will be managed adequately on site. The landscape plan meets the canopy coverage requirements, and street tree EX04 could be retained if the scope of a proposed berm was reduced. A third curb cut is proposed to connect to a new garage. This would result in 3 curb cuts on Kingsbury, one of which would not be used. Staff are of the opinion that the unused curb cut should be restored to tree lawn. Staff are of the opinion that the project will meet the criteria for site plan approval with the conditions identified in the recommendations section. The conditions are the following. 1, that the applicant shall provide a percolation test report conducted by a qualified geotechnical engineer. This report must assess the performance of the proposed dry well based on the anticipated impact of a 15-year, 20-minute storm event. Should the results indicate that the proposed dry well is insufficient to accommodate the stormwater runoff generated by this event, the applicant shall be required to upsize the dry well accordingly to ensure the adequate performance in compliance with applicable stormwater management standards. Then to ensure future maintenance and operation of the dry well, the applicant shall record a deed restriction noting the location and maintenance requirements of the dry well systems and shall submit proof of the recording prior to issuance of a building permit. The scope of the berm shall be reduced and street tree EX04 should be retained. And then last, the unused curb cut would be removed and restored as part of the tree lawn.
Okay. Eric?
Again, Eric Dietmeyer, Vols Engineering. We are the engineers of record for the improvement project. Everything Ryan has stated is accurate. One thing I would like to point out, given that has already been brought up, the roof area that goes to the dry well, anything that would overflow that dry well will go out to Central rather than down through the backyards between Central and Bemiston. So all that roof area, if for some reason that dry well fails, is going out towards North Central rather than down the backyards of everybody.
Could you show us, so everyone will see it, where the dry well is and the direction of water flow?
The dry well is right here, and any flow that has to bypass the capacity will go out to North Central. So the entire roof area is essentially directed to North Central rather than down the backyards.
And what about the flow at grade in the other colors?
The other colors, we're kind of reducing the runoff. The amount of impervious coverage for this lot does result in a minor increase in runoff, but the roof more than covers that increase. So everything else, there's a reduction in runoff going towards the north.
Okay. So then on the south side, the beige color would all go
Going out to Kingsbury.
toward the street.
Correct.
Okay. Of course, the northern property, which I think is Site A.
Yes, Lot A is
We're not doing anything
correct.
right now.
Correct. So that is generating just a complete reduction in runoff for that particular lot.
Will it be graded?
Yeah, it's going to be graded as needed to accommodate for the basement that is going to be removed. It's going to be backfilled and will be left in a buildable condition, but still, not looking like post demolition, but it's going to look like a yard.
So it'll look like an unimproved yard
Correct.
with grass?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Until such time as the lot is sold and new buyer wishes to break ground. But then they'll have to go through this process on their own.
Okay. Well, in reading the staff report and your responses on Site B, it seems like the water will be fairly well controlled. So let's move on. Helen?
Could you explain the 6-inch berm?
It's kind of needed so that we could leave a little bit of that existing driveway in place. If we shorten up the berm, we might have a little bit more water coming around from this area, coming around and onto that existing driveway that then goes off to the north. That was the whole intent of that berm and the reason why tree number 4 had to come out. But if staff and the board would like to leave tree number 4, the tree itself will help divert some water out to the street. It's not going to be a complete change in the watershed, but I don't believe it would be a significant flow of water that would then be diverted to the north. And actually, there is some of it, that berm is diverting up to the north. It's just preventing it from going directly to the neighbor to the east. So trying to mitigate any increase to that adjacent property.
Are there other options?
I mean, didn't study the landscape plan, but yeah, I think there was some new plantings planned for that area. And
No, that could reduce the berm or eliminate it and save the tree?
we could, but then there's a chance for an increase in runoff to the neighbor directly to the east. It was all part of that management to make sure we're not increasing to one property or the other. That was the intent.
Okay. Why would you be leaving an unused curb cut?
That was just an original idea. We have no problem with staff recommendation of taking out the one where we're getting rid of the drive.
So, yeah, Nancy Georgian, my husband Mike and I are the owners on 304 North Central. That curb cut has been there as a second access. There was originally an accessory building there that was taken out some time ago. There's no parking along that side of Kingsbury, so our driveway, huh? Yeah, the little one that we want to keep. That's what you're talking about, right?
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the April 4 one that's coming.
No, she's asking about the one we want to keep, I believe.
You have one that is going to a paved area that's existing.
Right, and
and
we
you're
want to keep
keeping.
that one, yes.
Then you have another one
That's
that
coming
goes,
out. That's coming out.
okay,
And that will come out, and the staff recommendation is that in addition to taking out the existing main driveway, that the curb cut be restored to tree lawn, which
okay.
it will be. And we're fine with that recommendation. I thought it was a great recommendation. We will then have a new curb cut to the new garage.
Yeah,
That,
no, that's
okay.
fine. I
okay,
didn't want
yeah.
us to be looking at three
No,
curb cuts.
No, will be two curb cuts. One
Okay.
will be essentially a parking pad since there's no street parking. And it's an existing one. And it also, the tree will, there's a tree there that it would disrupt. But they'll be just, the current driveway will be replaced with the new one.
Okay. No, I have nothing further.
Susan?
Yeah, I appreciate the native plantings, the geothermal, but that can be disruptive as you put it in as well, but it's a wonderful move forward. Maybe I'm confused with the impervious surface standards, because if that second lot is to eventually be developed, reducing the impervious surfaces on B at this point and reliance on that still having, the full coverage, when that's developed, I'm confused about how that works. How can we reduce it that much on a neighboring lot, in relying on a lot that's not yet developed? Am I making any sense?
If I'm following, Lot A has significantly more impervious coverage than Lot B with the existing house. So when the existing house comes down, Lot A becomes 100%
increase
green
it, right.
space. And then Lot A is being developed with a little bit more impervious coverage than what would be there, assuming the new property line. So moving forward, Lot A will have to account for their own increase in runoff. And I guess it'll be up to staff or the board at that point, whether we get credit for the impervious coverage that is there now, or if we had to account for just coming from an undeveloped lot to new improvements. I think that's a question for when Lot A is being
I
developed.
just have a lot of concern with, over the last few years, increasing, there's increasing concern all over Clayton with runoff, very similar to what Kathleen was talking about, though that sounds even more extreme. And we already have standards on the amount of impervious surfaces. And it's a hard decision to make to allow for more impervious surfaces. Whether the lot next door that's not being developed is going to be better than it is right now is almost secondary to the standards that we need going forward as a city. So I do have concerns with the impervious coverage. Also, I think that I was reading the canopy being reduced and replaced. I got a little bit lost in that too. The canopy coverage on Lot B is 8,300 square feet. 5,800 will be removed and 2,700 will be then replaced. So it seems like it's still a reduction in canopy, which also helps with runoff and everything else, and a lot of things that our city needs. Again, I appreciate the native species requirement of 77.8%. But the canopy coverage, is that because the house and it's having a bigger footprint, or?
I'm not the landscape architect, so I can't speak to that design. I believe Ryan has stated that the canopy coverage meets the current code.
And Ryan and Anna, how does that work? It says more is being taken away than is being replaced, but it exceeds the replacement requirement.
So canopy coverage for a lot is based on the square footage of the site. There's a certain percentage of a site that needs to be covered with that square footage. So they might have well in excess of what is currently required for a lot. They may be removing some, but they don't have to replace to the same quantity that they had before. They just need to replace to the required percentage that this law requires.
Okay, and so with the blank slate, they'll have enough canopy coverage to meet city requirements for canopy coverage. Is that what you're saying?
So as proposed, they exceed the minimum canopy coverage required for the lot regardless of what may be existing. What is proposed will exceed the minimum canopy coverage requirement.
Okay, thank you. And then I appreciated the conversation about the curb cuts and the agreement to restore the tree line. But again, I am concerned about the runoff and the impervious coverage, especially with not knowing what's happening with the lot next door that's being separated from it.
Yeah, all councilwoman views. I'm gonna get used to that. Just to be clear, this proposed Lot B development is not getting any sort of credit related to the Lot A that's being created.
I understand. They were, because it was discussed in the same document, prepared here, there is some,
Yeah.
it is, yeah, so we don't know what's happening there, and we're asking for a reduction in the pervious surfaces, so that does concern me.
And the proposed impervious surface that for Lot B is significantly lower than the allowed maximum. We're allowed, I think, 50%. Is that right, Ryan? 55%, and we're
You're at
proposing less than
38%.
39%.
Okay, thank you.
Jim?
Thanks. I think I have the idea, especially from what Anna said and from what you've said, but just to clarify it, to kind of bring it all in, we have Lot A here, which is going to remain untouched, and then Lot B is all we're talking about. You're only covering 38% of Lot B, and that does not give you any credit, again, for Lot A. So anything so that's 38% of the new Lot B.
Correct. Lot A will be 100% pervious, and credit for the existing structure that's there now on Lot A will be something that
They're treated like two separate lots, as if they were always two separate lots. So it's not that it's 38% of the larger combined lot.
Correct. When
So-
when I measured the existing impervious coverage, I laid out that new property line, and everything south of that property line is the existing impervious coverage for Lot B.
I appreciate you clarifying that. I think.
That did help, thank you, yeah.
Okay.
And I think, Susan, I definitely share your concerns overall when it comes to impervious coverage. I think we can all agree 38% is definitely much lower than what we typically see for new construction. So we can get to that a little more in architectural. We'll focus here on civil for now. Also, just how the water is treated and everything, I don't really have any concerns as far as the direction it will move, and I think it's more than adequate. You've addressed the curb cut, so I don't think we have to worry about that. I will say, it's like I definitely understand what you're saying with the berm. I wrestle a little bit with removing a street tree isn't exactly.
It's behind the sidewalk, so it's not a street tree.
It actually is in the public right of way.
Oh, it is? No, okay. I thought street trees had to be between the sidewalk and the curb.
This is an abnormal street because the overhead electric line is in the tree lawn, so that's why you see the smaller street trees
Gotcha.
in the tree
Okay.
lawn and the larger street trees.
All right. I love learning.
Given that it's a street tree, and I think that's probably a minor change overall that I feel you guys would be able to tackle without significant disruption to the plan, it sounds like.
Sure, yeah,
So-
yeah.
So yes, as long as the staff recommendations go forth, I don't have any problem with anything.
Okay.
Chris?
I have a couple thoughts, and thank you for clarifying that it is two, and I want to reiterate, it is two lots that we're talking about. And really, lot one, we can just put off to the side because we're not discussing that.
Correct.
So everything that we're referring to in terms of coverage just refers to this lot B. And all the calculations have been done on that. I have concerns with the existing tree, like this EX04, because it looks like a large tree. And I do worry that during the process of construction, that some of these large trees are going to be lost anyway, just through the construction process. It seems like
Okay.
that's been the case with a lot of construction in that general area. And then when we were talking about the curb cut, there was the mention that that tree would have to go too. I don't know if that was brought into this as well, but I just want to make sure that this canopy cover is, that everything is being done to maintain as much of that canopy
Well,
cover.
if EX4 right there is to remain, and we have this portion, this existing curb cut right here, that, you know, the sidewalk would more than likely have to come out, as well as, you know, the apron curb will be backfilled. So there'll be a little bit of disturbance under the drip line if we're saving that, but that will be up, you know, we'll have to have, you know, the landscape architect and his staff on site while work is being done, just to help ensure we can have some longevity out of that tree once construction is completed.
The other concern I have is more that, if we're hearing from a neighbor down the street that despite our best planning, that there still is increased runoff that is affecting not the residents, but the yard. And I know that we're using the MSD 15-year storm event sort of numbers. I think I'm just wondering more if this is an accurate sort of representation. If we're trying our best to limit stormwater, but yet we have reports of neighbors that it's not necessarily working, I don't know how we go about addressing that.
Well, as I said before, the entire roof area for the proposed house is going to the dry well. So anything beyond the design capacity will discharge out to Central rather than going down the backyards of everybody in between Central and Bemiston. Outside of that roof area, there's reduction in surface runoff going to all the adjacent property owners. So that, you know, any larger storms will be from the roof will be directed out to North Central, while everything else is a reduction for that same event going down everybody's backyards.
Okay, and the dry well, looking at the dry well, where is the pop-up emitter that was, if that dry well were to reach capacity there? Where's
Right
it? Oh,
here.
gotcha.
Yeah, right there, and that's
Okay.
all gonna come out towards this, out to the street.
Okay.
So then, following up on what Chris was saying, we're not increasing runoff in any direction.
Correct. According to our numbers,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Be reducing it.
Yes. Yes, there's a reduction going in every direction. Because we sized the dry well to take the entire tributary watershed of the roof. And it's even oversized pending the soils test for infiltration. And then pending that soils test, if it needs to get a little bit bigger, there's room for it to get a little bit bigger.
And that is irrespective of Lot A or the first lot
Correct.
there. Okay.
This has nothing to do with Lot A.
Thank you.
I have one just little question. So on the landscaping of the site plan, the existing concrete drive and apron at the top of the plan, that's all staying?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that is staying because there's minimal parking on Kingsbury.
I see. So that'll be used as off-street parking for the house, for the
Full
residents.
parking for guests and, you know, whomever else.
And
would
that's what you
need.
were saying, there was a garage there, or there was a building that, or utility structure. Okay, I was just curious. Nope, it's okay. I was just curious. It seemed odd.
It's a great way to, you know, further help protect this large tree that's right at the end of it.
Yeah.
If we're not removing any improvements under there,
Carrying it up, yeah.
then we're not, you know, we're keeping the disturbance under that drip line to a minimum.
Okay. On the site plan, any comments from the audience? Frank?
Yes. My name is Frank Hackman. My wife Susan and I have lived in Clayton since 1971 and at 314 North Central since 1974. We have always supported new construction in Old Town. In fact, I was one of the first people to publicly support Lou Sauer's condo development at North Central and Kingsbury across from Taylor Park. I want to stress tonight that my wife and I do not oppose the planned demolition of 304 North Central, although we are sad to see it go, nor do we oppose the plan to subdivide the lot, as I said earlier, and build a new home at the corner of Kingsbury and North Central. We are, however, concerned about stormwater flow from the property to our property, both during construction and thereafter, and also the removal of the existing tie wall and security fence on the property at 304 North Central. The property at 304 North Central is considerably higher than our property. This is particularly true in the last 1/3 or so of our shared property line as it moves away from North Central Avenue. From the time we moved into our house in 1974, the backyard of 304 North Central had both a tie wall ranging in height from about 40 inches to about 24 inches as it moved from the back of the property to North Central. And on top of the tie wall was a high security fence designed in part to prevent people from falling off the tie wall. Both the fence and the tie wall remain in place today. Ever since we heard that 304 North Central had been purchased, we have been in contact with Mr. Ryan Helly regarding the property and the plans for future development. He has been very responsive in answering all of our questions. This afternoon, we met with him, and he showed us the plan package for this property. So far as we can tell, the plan calls for the removal of the tie wall and the security fence bordering our shared property line with no plan to replace them. We were surprised to see this design element. And currently, there is no stormwater runoff problem that comes up on our property, but the potential is there both during construction and afterwards, and particularly the concern for the steep drop-off on our shared property line, we believe are both issues that should be addressed before the project is approved. Thank you.
Any other comments? Kathleen?
Hi, my name is Kathleen, and I'm sorry to muddy the waters. I wasn't trying to say that what Nancy and Mike were doing was wrong. I was just saying, can you look at this more holistically? I think that their plan is great. I love the fact that they're doing geothermal. I love the fact that they're putting in a lot of native plantings. I love the fact that they're saving most of the trees. And I understand that they're going to be, they could make their house bigger. I understand all of that. I'm asking the board to maybe stop looking at these things I know that their site plan fits everything, but I feel like we need to stop looking at these infill developments as just, here's the box and it fits all the requirements. And I know you guys are doing work as far as that is concerned. So that was why I spoke to the site plan. I know I can't do anything to stop the subdivision, but I would like to say one thing about the actual site plan. And that's, I'm concerned about the remainder of the concrete pad because it's not allowed. So I'm wondering, is it just because it's grandfathered in? There's street parking on the other side of the street, and Nancy's probably looking at the back of my head being really mad at me, but I'm kind of like there could be even more impervious surface if you pulled up the pad there. So I know our regulations do not allow for more than one curb cut. And you guys are allowing 2 curb cuts in this property. So maybe think about that a little bit. Because it is weird to for people to just have a parking pad next to their house. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Come on up.
So there currently are 2 curb cuts and they've been there. And on Bemiston, you'll notice several other houses where the houses were taken down and developed. There are 2 curb cuts in front of several of my neighbors on Bemiston where we live now. And so we are asking to retain that 1 curb cut and replace the main driveway with a new driveway. So we are not changing it. So whether it's grandfather or whatever the word would be for that, we do think it's a safety issue because there is no parking on that side of Kingsbury. We also think we'll lose that tree, which is a beautiful tree at the end of it, if we take that curb cut up because it's going to completely change the root system. And, I don't think the tree is going to survive. Yeah, I mean, if you really want that curb, that taken out, we can make accommodations for it, but I think it's very reasonable to request that. Okay, thank you.
Other comments from the commission?
I do have a question. Could, looking at that berm and the tree, I understand the reason for the berm. Could it be moved west so that it wouldn't impact the tree?
That would actually probably be better than shortening up the berm, move it a little west, help protect, direct some of that water that could otherwise go to that east property and, have it go out to Kingsbury where more of that western frontage is going. Yeah, definitely look at that.
Okay, if you're agreeable to that, and I realize there's no guarantee that a tree will live. You can do everything right, and the tree just says, I'm out of here. So this is just an effort to keep the best of both.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Other comments?
Chairman, do you want to see if they'll address the comment from the first public comment about the removal of the wall and fence?
Sure.
We can, yeah.
My name is Jeffrey Bernstein. I'm with Jeffrey Homes. I actually live at 321 North Central, so I'll be building Nancy Georgian and Michael Georgian's home, and I'll also be purchasing Lot A when it does become available. I haven't spoken to Frank about this, but I'm happy to tear out that railroad tie wall and replace it with a modular brick retaining wall. So we'll still keep the retaining wall, but just update it to a more aesthetically pleasing wall in today's times. And then, of course, it'll still have to have a fence on top of it.
So then by doing that, it would maintain the exact same site and the water retention.
Exactly. The grade will be consistent with what it is right now. And of course, the new home isn't quite designed yet, but we'll still be able to maintain that height of the existing wall with the new modular brick wall or new modular retaining wall.
And so for now, we would leave that wall in place until such time as Lot A.
Correct. So I know we're not necessarily talking about Lot A, but we can make it a condition that when we do talk about Lot A, whenever that time will be, that we'll replace the existing wall with a new wall at the exact same height.
Sorry, I would recommend, because we don't want to tie those future decisions here. Didn't mean to use the word tie to the tie wall, but if instead, if you don't plan on demoing, we would just modify your demo plan here so that it doesn't say TBR for the wall and fence, and then it stays the way it is.
And since I live across the street from Frank, he'll make sure that I am good with my word. Thank you.
Okay.
I can just say one more thing. Okay, I won't. I just wanted to say that I appreciate very much the additional explanations on the efforts that are being taken to develop this property sustainably and responsibly. And Kathleen, I appreciated your comments and the recognition that it's a more global issue, that we have to look at the flow of that water and not look at things in a microcosm. So that is very, very helpful in looking at what you're presenting to us today.
Okay. Any other items? Okay. We do have 4 conditions.
Yes.
And, oh, right, sorry, 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe a 5th.
Yeah. The berm relocation.
I should clarify that
Oh, that'd be 6 then.
the berm item is noted in the conditions. The scope of the berm should be reduced and street tree X4 should be retained. That is already noted in the conditions.
Number 5 would be using in place that existing wall.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yes. Okay, I move to approve as submitted with with staff recommendations number 1 and number 2, and number 5 to retain the existing tie wall and fence. Noting that recommendation number 3, the berm will be moved west to preserve street tree EX04. And staff recommendation number 4 has been agreed to, that the curb cut will be removed and restored as part of the tree lawn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll move on to the Architectural Review Board. And Ryan,
The applicant proposes the construction of a single-family house on Lot B comprising primarily of siding. The use and scale of the house are consistent with surrounding properties. Siding is not recommended as a primary material. However, it is common nearby, and staff are of the opinion that it will complement the surrounding area equally as well as brick. Staff recommend approval as submitted.
okay.
Good evening. I'm Lauren Strutman. I'm the architect, and we've got some 3D renderings up on the screen that show kind of the shape and form of this house. My printer kind of printed the colors a little differently than the colors we're actually going to use, or I think a lighter, nicer looking set of colors for this house. We're going to be doing a aluminum clad architectural window, and it will not be won't be white like my sample. It'll be actually this off-white linen white. And the siding will be a light gray, not that little greenish siding on the print that you have. And I think these colors will actually look really nice. It's going to be a very nice quality architectural shingle in a weathered wood color. And we're going to be using a very real stone, natural limestone colors. Tumbled stone. And what's a little unique about this house is we're using a James Hardie fiber cement siding, but there's a very upgraded version called Artisan, which is a thicker James Hardie siding that has a little more reveal to it. And because it's thicker, the corners of the house can be installed with mitered corners instead of vertical trim boards. So what you're seeing in these renderings are mitered corners, which a lot of the older homes in the area have on their older siding. And we also have some, the stone not only on the fireplace, but on the front porch. In the base of the front porch, there is a little bit of shingle siding up on the gables as a accent. And all the colors on the outside will be these pewter gray and linen colors, not the greenish look that's on these color renderings. And the garage door color will match the siding color. And I'm here to answer any questions. It's kind of a uniquely shaped lot, but I think we've designed a home that fits very well in the neighborhood. We tried to put kind of a little bit of variety to the roof lines along the Kingsbury side, so it wasn't just one straight wall of house. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, Lauren, as usual, you come up with a unique design that fits the site. And I really like the mitered corners. I think that makes quite a bit of difference. Also, this will be one of the larger frame houses in the neighborhood,
Mhm,
but we do have substantial siding in the neighborhood also.
mhm.
But the way you've broken it up, especially on the Kingsbury side, I think breaks it down into smaller pieces, and it's much more pleasing to my eye. And now I understand the color of the roof shingle going to the lighter gray colors
Their colors,
as
yeah.
opposed to what we see
Yes.
in print. That was my main color problem
Mhm.
in what we had.
Yeah, actually Nancy gave me pictures of a lot of her favorite older homes in the area. And I said, they all have mitered corners on the siding, and there is a James Hardie product that's not used very often, but we can match that on this new house. And that's why we did that. There's actually kind of a nice detail on the porch columns of the home that's going to be demolished, and we're going to match that on the columns on this new house as well.
In the artisan material, are the colors the same as on the standard James Hardie?
Actually, we normally never use a pre-finished James Hardie because of all the touch-up paint, and the touch-up paint on the pre-finish tends to fade differently. So in 10 years, you'll have kind of a weird appearance on the house if you use the pre-finish. So pretty much all the custom homes we do have a job site finished paint. They're not pre-finished. So it'll be a custom color, and that's the color that's been selected.
Looks very good to me. I think we've gone over the site. I think the house fits both in the context of the neighborhood and for the site itself. Ellen?
I like it except for the siding. The amount of siding, I mean, it's almost 100%. That bothers me. I know it's an upgraded siding and all of that, but that still concerns me.
Susan?
It's beautiful. Tonight's been a lot of siding conversations. And when we have a standard, I always think that there's a reason that we have that guideline. And this obviously varies from that, as you just pointed out with the siding. It is a beautiful home though.
Thank you.
I mean, I could support it. But again, I wonder why we have guidelines if we can make, so often can vary from them. So.
Jim?
I agree. We've had a lot of siding conversation today, and I think actually most of our siding conversation has turned out better than what we typically see. I will say in this case, on an island, I would agree with you very much, Susan, that this is a lot of siding, and if we're talking Clayton House, looking lots of siding, but here is, I think, where context really matters. And I think we've kind of talked about the context over the last couple of weeks of various neighborhoods. And I think staff noting that siding is much more predominant in this part of Old Town. This is a house that's responding to its context, which is very refreshing for me to see. And it's very refreshing to have an architect come in, respond to the site around them. Mitered corners, obviously, after a designer's heart. And these details you speak of, and because that's what makes the homes in Clayton, these details, these thoughts, the way this home fits the site. It doesn't try and dominate the site and take up every possible square inch. I also appreciate seeing the materials in person. I was a little worried looking at the renderings of that greenish color. It presents obviously much nicer in person. So most, if not all of my concerns have been allayed by the presentation. So thank you.
Chris?
I can't get past the siding. I'm having difficulty with that just because of the size of the build. And looking at that, the loose hour house next door being dark, I think that the color, having a very light siding on this, it really stands out. I think the design of the house is beautiful. I think you've done a wonderful job with that. I just cannot get past the feeling that once this one is built, any further ones that would be built in the area too, they would refer back to this one, say, well, if this one which is really a bigger house, if this one was allowed to do siding, then how come we can't do siding as well? So that is my concern with it. I don't have an easy solution. I would love it if this house was all brick. But that is a massive difference in pricing. I understand that.
And it's not to save costs, it's that there are quite a few older sided homes in the neighborhood, and Nancy and Mike Georgian really wanted to have it look, there's an older sided farmhouse kind of on the lot now, and they very much wanted it to be in that style. It was not done to do something cheaper or save money. We're actually using a window called the Westchester by Sierra Pacific. That's a historically correct window, not just a regular window. You can see we put the little slightly arched heads on the window trim, again, to match older homes in the neighborhood. And it was a very conscious effort to blend in. And there have been on Central 3 sided homes built. One was done by Michael Lauren, and one was done by Dick Bush, and one was done by Lauren Strutman and they're all newer ones, but they all have masonry accents like this. So they're not meant to be just cheap sided houses. They're meant to be very, very high quality homes that blend in with that community.
And there was no disrespect by me saying that by any means. And I think that Jim said it right, that it is the details. And speaking of choosing those windows does make it a difference. I still have issues, and I think maybe just because it's a light colored siding. And also, of course, when you get something like this thick or this artisan, then of course the mitered corners is going to come down to the quality of the construction of it. Because my hope is that these mitered corners would look as wonderful as they do on the rendering.
It should look very good, yeah.
That's my only concern, is that I walk by there every day. I live right around the corner. And I love the charming little farmhouse, and I think maybe there's a little bit of that I'm struggling with as well, because that is a smaller scale with a lot of grass. And I agree with Jim that this is not overflowing the lot, which is fantastic. But in my mind's eye, it's taking a little hard to remedy, to rectify what is there now, and what will be there, and how it plays out for future homes around there as those ones get older.
Aaron?
Yeah, I think getting it right will be really important. Couple questions. What's the material in the dormer? Is that a cement, like a
Yeah, it's a
shingle?
James Horty. It's called a straight edge fiber cement shingle. It's very subtle.
Yep.
It's an even edge to it, and it's just a little accent in the gables there.
They'll have the same
Same color.
same color.
Yeah.
And that area between the first and second floor, what's that material? Is that just a flat?
There's a
piece?
bandboard trim that kind of lines up all the way around the house at the joint between the first and second floor. And I will also say, most homes we do almost always have 10-foot ceilings, and this house has 9 and 9-foot ceilings. And in Old Town R3 zoning, you are allowed a 35-foot height to the midpoint of the roof. And this house is like at 28 feet to the midpoint of the roof. This is not even a real tall house. The Georgians didn't want 10-foot ceilings. We have 9-foot and 9-foot ceilings, which is pretty unusual for a new home. So.
Thanks.
Any comments from the audience? Nancy, come on up.
Obviously, Nancy Georgian. So we did put a lot of thought into designing this house. I grew up on Central. Our house was one of the first tear downs. So I really get your comments, and I've seen the neighborhood change. And there's a lot of nondescript brick houses and townhomes in the neighborhood. And we really feel this is, I mean, it's the corner entrance to that area of Old Town. We just feel very strongly this fits, this is what should be there. It's not going to be a massive house. It's bigger than what's there. But the house that's there now has a very large footprint. It's very wide. There are multiple original houses down Kingsbury, the whole neighborhood. I mean, I grew up in a white frame house. And so I understand, and I understand what the Clayton staff has to deal with on some of the requirements. But I greatly appreciate your concern on siding. I just truly believe, as Mike does, that this really fits and this is the house that should be there. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any further comments from the commission? Well, it's a beautiful house. I think it will fit in the neighborhood well. And we do have a staff recommendation to approve as submitted.
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. When do you start? Thank you. Okay, we'd like to continue. Okay, we'd like to continue with items 6 and 7. That's 8145 University Drive. And we'll be doing the site plan review first.
The subject property is located on the north side of University, just east of the street's intersection with North Forsyth. Property is zoned R2 and is in the Clayton Gardens Urban Design District. Property is developed with a two-story single-family house, and the project includes the demolition of the existing house and construction of a new single-family house. A full analysis of site plan review can be found in the staff report, and I'll go over some of the key points. Trash storage, HVAC, and impervious coverage is proposed or in conformance with the requirements of the R2 district and the Clayton Gardens Urban Design District. A significant increase in stormwater is proposed to impact the front yard. All roof runoff is proposed to go to a pop-up emitter in the front yard, which will concentrate a significant amount of runoff to a single location without any intervening BMPs. Utility lines shown in the front yard are proposed to conflict with 2 trees. Additionally, a quarter of the neighbor's tree is in a critical root zone will be impacted by the proposal. This tree is noted as being in poor condition and having structural issues. The impact of the critical root zone is likely to negatively impact the tree. Staff are of the opinion that these outstanding issues should be addressed and that the proposal has not yet met the criteria for site plan review. Staff recommend that the proposal be continued to allow for the following revisions. 1, implement stormwater BMPs to mitigate the impact of water runoff in the front yard. 2, revise the tree plantings to remove the utility conflicts. And 3, address the challenges regarding the 2 neighboring trees.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Henry Win from Sterling Company, 8445 University City. First
Could you
name,
give us your name? Was that,
the first name is Henry, last name Win.
did you get that, Brian? Okay. Okay, we're talking about site plan review. So, any comments?
So I just took a look at the site today. I think the overall air maps here is not correctly, because I saw they have a some kind of this granite curve on this side here. So it's mean my overall, base here will be changed to the street right there. It's no longer go to this side over here. So it's my proposed and existing one should be the same. We were the same as before.
So maybe I'm not following. What difference will that make?
Because if they have some kind of the the curve over here is already. So my overall kind of area runoff will be quite strict, it's no longer go to this side anyway.
So are you saying that presently all runoff goes to the street?
Yes, they have a photo here. You want to take a look? Because I do this, it's not my survey. I just use somebody's survey.
Yeah, so there's an existing curb along the
The fence.
western side of the
Yeah.
property line that's directing all of the
Water
existing
goes straight to the
water.
street.
So the existing EXA area and identified in red on the left-hand side, it's really all blue.
All always.
Okay.
Oh,
Because I only use the joint area mass based on the contour there, the surface, And then the surface showed me it's go straight to this way. It's go straight to from here. You see here the contour right there. So it's go straight this way. But because I'm not the surveyor, so I don't have any kind of, need to go to the side and see it. So what's different there? So I just come to the side today and they have a curve over here. That's why all the water now is straight towards the street anyway.
so it would all go south.
Yes. So we're not changing any direction of the water runoff. It still goes south.
And now on the right side drawing, there, all the water would also go south. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's
What
correct.
about the area A, that very small pink area? At the upper left corner?
This corner right here.
Yes.
So it's still, that's behind the wall. I think it should be the same as the one over here too. So my area map should be from here, start from this point here to the wall, and then come to this way. This area should be go to this. So we're not changing any kind of direction of the water now. So we should always to the south one.
So even on the right side, the improvement, all the water would still go south. Is that correct?
Yes.
Nothing to the residents to the west
No.
or the north?
No. Because they had the fence there, and the fence had little kind of like, higher points there. So the water will never go straight to there, it's always straight to the south. So whenever water hits the fence here, it's automatically just drain out this way.
Okay.
And then on our page number 2, we decreasing in runoff also. And goes over here.
Yeah.
So we decreasing runoff, so we're not increasing anything. Yes, right there. This area right here.
What sheet is that? Okay.
I have a bigger one, if you want to use it. This is good for your eyes. I don't have a full size up here when you bigger one.
Well, I think we can probably see it on the screen. We each have a screen. Okay, so I think I'm following it. Hopefully everyone else is, that all the water is going south
Going
and
south.
nowhere else. Okay. Can you address the well, I hear what you're saying, but I really have a hard time reading all the plans to be directing all the water to the south.
Yeah, there's a, so if we zoom in on the garage, this is where I'm trying, I understand the existing rolled curb. You have a rolled curb noted on the new driveway. There is a downspout on the southwest corner of the garage that's outside of the rolled curb. So how will that downspout
Because
go south?
That's downspout will be piping all together. So all the downspout on the wall and the house. That's why we had, see this, that's light over here. That's the piping. So we all pipe them together.
So you're piping the downspouts from the garage to the front
Yes,
pop-up
all the
emitter
way
as well.
also, yes.
Okay.
Where do we see that?
So all the dash line over here, small dash line, that's the other piping for the downspout.
Well, I see the dash line going around the house to the front, but I don't see it coming from the garage.
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, right there.
So this downspout here, go to here, go to this downspout and coming now.
So the garage downspouts will go under the driveway
Driveway, yes.
and meet up with the downspouts coming down from the house.
Then come all the way come to the front.
Okay, to the front pop-up.
Yes.
Ryan, could you scroll it up a bit? Okay, so the pop-up there. Well, Ryan, you did put in the staff report that the proposal should be revised to better mitigate the stormwater runoff. Any further comment on that from what we're talking about?
So the plans identified two separate stormwater drainage areas, two tributaries. If all of that water from the rear yard is coming to the front, then I think that we need to see plans that demonstrate that, because the staff report was written in a way that interprets the plans as they're presented to us. If you as the board find that this is sufficient and you want to proceed, you're welcome to do so. As I interpret these plans, they're separate drainage areas and one of them is increasing.
And then I do have a calculation from my WinUp also on this page number 2. Oh,
So to clarify, something that, in my opinion, I think we need to see is we have the existing and proposed drainage areas here with these calculations at the bottom. We have an A and we have a B, and there's differences in numbers here.
mhm.
If part of A should actually be counted in B because it all goes to the same place,
Yes, I can go.
this calculation is incorrect.
That's correct. So I need to update the overall area map for this one. It's based on my field visits today. I saw they have a curve on the west side.
So are we hearing that these calculations are incorrect?
It's not updated yet. So this one based on the views one we submit to the city.
I'll be honest, I think I'm getting lost.
Yeah, I mean, I think for this board to make any sort of real evaluation, we need to start with providing the correct numbers to you.
Yeah.
My recommendation to you as engineer when you do this, I don't think that change in the drainage area pre and post changes Ryan's comments though in the staff report. You still have all of the water and the sump pump coming out of a pop-up emitter. So the sump pump pop-up emitter is about 1 foot away from all of your other rooftop drainage area, and there's no mitigation of the water outflow from that pop-up emitter. And we have issues in this area of continuous pop-up emitters that then create nuisances along the public way street, sidewalk, drive. So that's really the heart of the concern, is that there is no mitigation of the outflow. So
So I can provide some kind of it's more train, like 1 by 1 foot side to break down the energy for the water from there. Now it can shift flow, over top and coming out like this. It's not, go straight to the right away.
Yeah, I think we can react when you provide however you're deciding to mitigate it, but just right now there isn't anything. So it will, especially from the sump pump in this area, the sump pumps continuously run. So that's a lot of water that will just flow directly into the
Okay.
public right away.
I can provide some stuff there, just slow down the water a little bit so the water don't.
Right. So when you're adjusting the number change, yeah, also include something to that effect. Yep. Thank you.
Well, we do have in the staff recommendations, there are 3 areas. There's the stormwater, revising tree plantings to avoid utility conflicts, and the 2 adjacent neighboring trees. But let's see if there are any other comments. I would recommend that we postpone this so we get further information that we can work on. But Helen?
I agree.
Susan?
Nothing else. I agree. Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, I take the comments if everything is actually coming coming by the way of blue, we already have a pretty big gain on blue than current. So that would actually exacerbate that and make it way worse. So that's actually pretty alarming to see this amount of water with just a pop-up with absolutely no kind of mitigation is it's pretty tough. So I think significant changes are going to need to be made. I don't know if this would fall into site plan or fall into architectural review. I would like to see the ribbon drive gone too, which is also going to affect those calculations. But I don't think that there's any need for a ribbon drive in this case, other than to try and eke out every last possible square foot on this site. So I would like to see that removed in a future plan.
Chris?
I have a hard time with these plans. Just with there's an awful lot of detail on each of these renderings that makes it difficult, I think, to understand. So I look forward to seeing the revised ones and some mitigation efforts called out as well.
Okay.
Darren?
A lot of the same comments that others had.
Well, I think as far as site plan review goes, we've come to the point where we'll postpone it for a future date. Do we have a motion?
I move to continue site plan review to a future undetermined date to resolve the stormwater and tree issues as noted in the 3 staff recommendations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, we can go on with the architectural review.
So before I leave, can I ask one more question? So because my overall burn-up is decreasing, so do I have to be mitigate all this, going up from this side? Because based on my calculations on by number 2, we decreasing on burn-up. So because on the, so I had the calculation over here. So right now we only have like 40, 50, 4, 9, 69%, and we're less than before.
And so we don't require on-site detention when you're not increasing the overall amount of runoff, but we do require that you can show that you're mitigating all potential nuisances. So that's the concern that staff has, is that we aren't requiring necessarily a underground detention of any manner, because you're not increasing the quantity of runoff produced, but we do have concerns that you would be creating additional nuisances or new nuisances within the public right of way based on that plan.
Okay.
Okay, we will go on with the architectural review.
New construction is common in Clayton Gardens, with existing homes often replaced with larger ones. The new home maintains common architectural features with the use of a gabled roof, partial dormers on the front facade, the stone frame around the front entry. The applicant is proposing the construction of a ribbon driveway, which is not a permitted style in the architectural review guidelines, and of which there are limited examples nearby. The ribbon drive does not extend into the front setback, which is likely to result in a minimal visual impact. The house will be primarily brick with stucco and stone as secondary materials. The project meets the Clayton Gardens requirements for at least 75% brick on the front and side facades. The rear facade contains about 60% brick, with the remainder being stucco board. The applicant is seeking approval via alternative compliance. Because the stucco use is limited and consistently applied to box bays, the rear facade has minimal street visibility, and the brick still comprises the majority of the elevation. Staff believe that the proposal satisfies the criteria for alternative compliance. Staff are of the opinion that the architecture of the new house will result in minimal visual impact. Staff recommends approval as submitted.
Okay.
Mike Thompson, Thompson Design Group. Yes, this is a house, and if I could comment just a little bit on the site plan, although I'm technically not involved in the site plan. As far as the ribbon driveway, actually, this is kitty corner from 8136 University, which Mike Banlon is finishing up right now, and it has a ribbon driveway to it. So I know for sure that's a house in the neighborhood with one. So as far as I think, less concrete is better, I guess, less runoff, that type of thing. On this house, we've also provided not only the ribbon driveway, but a 12-inch buffer from the driveway to the house there for plantings and flowers and ivy possibly to grow up on the brick, type of thing, which again mitigates some of the water runoff. Certainly when it rains and wind blows water against the house, not having the concrete go all the way up to the house certainly lessens some of the water impact on it. So otherwise, as far as getting back to the architecture, as you can see, they're going with a kind of a standard, you've seen it quite a bit, white and black type look. The stone, limestone around the door and the windows, the trim will be a real stone. It is a white brick. Not just painted. So as far as I know it was called out, the rear elevation is not quite the 75% brick due to the cantilevers, that type of thing. The entire house together is certainly more than the 75%. And of course, the rear is much less visible. It is still mostly or predominantly brick. I guess other than that, if you have any questions, I can answer.
Well, it's a very good appearing house. I think it will fit into the neighborhood. I do have some concerns, though. Even though the context drawing on sheet 2 of 4, here we are. I know the roof slope will be foreshortened in a 3D appearance, not like what we see here. But the house just feels very big all around. And, there are several things. In looking at the site plan, which has now been continued, and looking at things like the driveway, I don't think there's a turnaround back there. It's, I think, going to be very difficult to back up or get your car in and out. But the house itself, with the brick and the window and the stone trim, looks good. I am not bothered by the rear elevation with the stucco or stucco board on it. I think that is a cantilevered area, and to do it in brick would be extremely difficult. But I'm not sure about the stucco that goes around the corner, unless I'm misreading it.
It does on what we've done is, as you look at the first floor plan here, we've created, and it's not a turnaround area, but certainly an area that you can easily, or much more easily, get your car into the garage. And basically what's happening is the master bedroom is cantilevering over that area. So we've pulled the kitchen, like where the kitchen sink is right there, so we can get basically 20 feet to get your car into the garage. And then the master bedroom is well, it's cantilevered about 6 feet over that area.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
So that's why you
So
see
that's
that
why
coming
we
around
have
that
the
corner. Yeah.
Stucco.
Yes,
on
coming
that.
around the corner right there, yes. But once we get past the cantilever, then it's all brick, yes.
Brick again. Okay, so the stucco is really only where we have a cantilever,
Yes, yes, absolutely, on the entire house.
including on the right elevation, which is the east side.
Correct, just we cantilevered out the two fireplaces, and there's a little bit for where the stairway is right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's and I should have mentioned this when I started, it's much below what is allowed by the ordinance, but it's less than 27-foot tall house.
Yeah.
But it becomes difficult in these neighborhoods where, the older houses have 8-foot first floor and second floor, and of course, what sells is a 10-foot first floor and a 9-foot second floor. So you kind of start out a little bit above to start. We've broken up the roofs as far as it's not one big roof over the entire building, as far to keep that down, and that's what's got us down less than 27 feet tall. But and helps to make it look less imposing in the neighborhood.
okay, I think we'll move on. Helen?
No, I like all of the brick. And I definitely understand the bathroom cantilevers about 3.5 feet out.
Yes,
So, and then the master bedroom does even further.
correct.
Yeah,
For that,
we definitely need the stucco board. Now, the fireplace in the office, is that outside or inside the wall?
it cantilevers a foot out is what we've done. So it sticks, as far as on the inside, it sticks some inside, but it will stick out a foot from
Yeah.
the,
Plan shows it as inside and the elevation shows it as, extending out. Plan on A1.
I'm sorry, you don't have, yes, you don't have the current plan. We will get that sent over, but no, both fireplaces are the same. In the great room and in the study, they will both cantilever exactly the same and look exactly the same.
Okay. And then, excuse me, on the second floor, adjacent to the stairwell, those windows, is a closet.
Correct. That it does cantilever, yes.
Yeah.
They all cantilever 12 inches, yeah.
Okay, no, I think it looks good.
I'm sorry, I should have also mentioned, in order to mitigate the height difference between the house, we are 6 feet off the line. We've moved the house over a foot away from the house to the right. The ordinance says up to, or for every 5 feet, you need to move over a foot. So we have done that.
Yeah, and you've marked that on A2.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
And the windows in the garage on the attic space, those are fake.
Yeah, the one, window up there that kind of sort of meant to look like a door, but we can't go the height in order to get a door. Normally we've done an actual window there. There's just some backdrop put to it. So, obviously you're not looking at the people's stuff that they've put up there.
Okay, no, that's it.
Susan,
I have no concerns. Looks good.
Jim,
Okay, I guess to start, this is a speculative build, correct? You don't have a homeowner?
Right, so.
Okay.
Do we have a homeowner on this? Not yet.
Okay. Well, I think that's very important for us to consider too, because I think, once again, and I've said it several times, I think to tear down a house in Clayton and to speculative build a house, I think we need to hold that house to a very high bar. Otherwise, I think we're setting a bad example as a board. I will say overall, with the point of the height mitigation is to avoid tall blocky building forms, and that's what the code says. If you look especially at this context example, I have a hard time not viewing this as a tall blocky building form. Transition in height and scale is offered through 5 separate techniques. One of those techniques is to reduce the side setback by 1 foot for 5 foot of difference to the height. I personally, I think if you look at this context drawing, I think that those ratios are off. This is just kind of a note for staff when this is reconsidered. I see that this is, we have 5 separate ways, and I think we have 4 pretty good ones and 1 really easy cop out. And everyone understandably takes the cop out. So I don't blame you for taking that route, but I don't think that moving in that 1 foot on that side mitigates the height or makes this not a tall blocky building form. I think I would agree with Helen when you, as far as for these cantilevers, it wouldn't make sense for brick because these are cantilevered so far out. But also we don't have to necessarily say, oh, we need to approve a secondary material over 75%. We also could reduce the cantilevers. The whole point, I believe, of these cantilevers is to squeeze as much building as possible onto this site. And I think it's very hard not to look at this plan where we're basically at 54 point something on impervious coverage. You know, here we have a talk several times tonight. We have several neighbors who were worried about a 38% impervious coverage, and here we're at 54.7, I believe, the absolute limit. That's why we have a ribbon drive here. That's why we have these large cantilevers out to fit basically a 4,800 square foot house almost onto a very small lot. And I think that should concern everyone here. And I think we need to look at, as far as especially for a speculative development, what we're willing to compromise on to squeeze as much possible house onto this lot. This house has been on the market for 129 days. And it's the second most expensive offered home, single-family home in Clayton right now. So if we are compromising on a lot of what the city allows, we are doing that basically so we can just up what, as far as the developer could ask for. And I want that to be considered in all of this. So I don't know if you find any of that unfair. You're welcome to give me your opinion on that, but.
Really not unfair to me at all. And I think the developer, of course, walks in and what they're willing to pay the person for their home that they're going to tear down. They've, of course, got to work out a balance sheet at that point of, okay, what can I make money on this job? And so certainly it's the city can decide whatever impervious surface that they want or that. You definitely get to set the rules. Obviously, that will also affect how much money that home is worth. You know, the tear down is worth. So it all is connected together.
Nothing further.
Chris,
And I love sitting next to you, Jim, because you teach me a lot. I like ribbon drives. I had never thought of them really as a way of gaining more or offsetting impervious substance. So I'm glad you talked about that. And I share similar concerns in terms of the scale. I am wondering, Jim, you mentioned that there's 5 ways kind of offsetting that, and that this would be one that is the kind of the easy way out. What are the other ones? For my own edification, really.
I'm going to do a couple off the top of my head, and Anna can hopefully chime in. I know one is a step down that you see in several areas. So part of this could be step down, have more of an asymmetrical facade. One would be for the roof line to extend down. So the second floor is more of like a dormer space. In this case, you have basically dormers that are up on what would be a 3rd story. Anna, can you help me with the other 2?
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
One is to push the mass to the back of the lot, as opposed to the sides but in this case, it's pretty tough to do that because we only have a 50-foot wide lot. And then what's my last one that I'm missing?
Yep, there's actually 2 more. So there's dormers that you did say, but then there's also utilizing a roof pitch, and it specifically has a diagram of the roof pitch, and the no is this roof pitch. So to utilize a roof pitch and overhang, then your roof line would have to come down to the base of the 1st floor rather than as Jim. So those 2 are kind of similar. And then the last one is installing canopy trees 20 feet on center along the side yard. So that specifically calls out canopy trees versus like tall evergreens.
So something that just is diminishing the view of it within, when you're looking at it, putting it all in scale. Is that correct? It really is what we're trying to do.
I believe
You can look at it a different way. I mean, in one sense, you could say, well, the easy way is to move it over a foot. But to understand, to move it over a foot, you've basically cut a foot out of your house, or basically you've lost 100 square feet of houses. And to a developer, they would say, no, that's not the easy way to go. In this particular case, we're actually 2 feet narrower because I kind of planned it that way because I guess I don't like that when they run the driveways right into the house. The concrete up against the house, I think looks bad. I think it's bad for the water. That having a planting strip there, I think is a nice thing. To the extent of, yeah, I would, if it was up to me, I would do a smaller in a center island in the driveway and actually make that planting strip larger, or maybe move the house over another foot. And do that type of thing.
Can I ask one question as a follow-up to that then? The point of the height mitigation is to avoid tall blocky building forms. Would you say this is a tall blocky building form or not?
I think looking straight on, like both the rendering and the elevations do, yeah, you could say it's somewhat blocky. It is not when you look at, if you were walking down the street, you would not say that. This front roof, well, 2 things. One, as you can see, the dormers actually are normal 2nd floor dormers. The roof that's slid down there, that's come down to a 7-foot height there. So we have started from a lower height to go up. It also, that front roof only extends back about 18 feet. And then you turn into another roof. So they've actually, what you're not seeing from the front is, yeah, it breaks up into multiple roofs. You'll see, like, for instance, the right elevation or the left elevation there. That's really what you'll see walking down the street. You're going to see 2 different roofs, multiple roofs, that type of thing. Much more than just, yeah, if you take a straight on look to it.
But Mike, if you would take that roof, the long north-south roof, and have it meet the front roof similar to the way it meets on the north side, then you would have a roof that would be much less massive up there from the street view.
You would, yes, take the 2 corners down. And we've done that most all the other houses that we've done, it just, do we want, I guess the view was, do we want every house to look like that? And that's why we liked this with the gable. We thought it was a nice look. We kept the gable low, in order to not make it, oppressive, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know that we want all of the houses to look like that same.
Well, you're not lining your houses up
Well, that's true.
next to each other.
Right.
But I'm just looking for how the massiveness could be reduced.
Yes, you would cut down the corners then of that roof.
What do you, oh,
Could you, looking at it straight on, you've got a 90-degree angle, the bottom line of the roof, and then the sides.
Yes, okay. Mhm.
Could you take those sides and make them 60 degrees?
Right, and that's, yes.
You know, just sketching it here, I think it looks more elegant.
And that's what we did at Westmoreland. Yes, it was just approved a few months ago. Yes, and so,
And I think it brings it down a bit. It's less just a straight line.
okay, gotcha. Mhm.
Now, looking at the context drawing, of course, that roof is going to slope back.
Correct.
But right now, it just appears to be too heavy or too large a hat on top of the house.
Okay.
I do wonder if if a change of material rather than an architectural shingle, if we'd have the same sort of concerns if it was something like a clay tile or a slate. If it was something that was, and that of course has cost considerations, but if it was something that was highlighting and using that as a design feature of the area, I'd find no objection whatsoever if this was a slate roof, or if this was, and not an imitation slate roof, but a real slate roof, or an architectural clay tile roof, that would give it a little bit more of a shadow line. But that's personal preference too. I do see what you're saying, Helen, with the bringing in the sides. But
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go the route of slate, having had a slate roof on my house. Or the tile, they're beautiful, but the workmanship, the craftsmen don't exist. And the cost is because you've got a lot of weight on the roof. So everything else has to be beefed up, and you've got cantilevers, which even wood frame and an asphalt shingle roof, you've got weight to deal with. And they're not 2-foot cantilevers. So it would look beautiful and add a different character, but I would opt for the built-in.
Following up on what Helen was just saying, coming in 60 degrees or whatever it is, would also change the east and west elevation views as you're walking or driving down the street. You wouldn't have that large gable end sticking up. So it would, I think, from 3 views, from the south, from the east, and from the west, it could make the entire mass look lower.
Okay. Mhm.
Also, if you could update when you do the calculation for the context for the house 200 there on the left,
Okay.
that should actually go to the midpoint of the roof rather than the dormer.
Oh, down to the other roof. Okay. I guess I did it that way because you understand that dormer, other than
Right, but
I
you
think like
also,
3
you
feet
know,
or
when we
4 feet.
calculate the height of garages, that's how you know, I think you guys have done a few of those where it's calculated to the midpoint of the roof, not to the dormer.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying that the dormer is maybe 90% of that side. other than 2 or 4 feet, that's the lower roof, and then.
We're gonna calculate it consistently as we do, not
Okay.
based on the measurement of the.
Other comments?
I mean, the one thing I mean, I agree with a lot of what they said. This elevation, it doesn't help looking at it straight on because you mostly would look at it from the sidewalk of the street where you would see, but it's a lot of roof. So I kind of agree with everyone else's comments.
Well, we would also like to take a look at all the materials. Have you brought them in?
But it's vinyl clad, but yes.
White inside, white outside.
So, I know I've seen the rendering. Yeah, there it is. Is that stone surrounding the windows?
Limestone.
Yep.
Oh, real limestone.
And around the front door.
And the rendering shows just 2 steps up. Is that correct? I don't know
Yes,
why.
we will have to, as you can, oh, you just moved it. As you see in the context elevation, the driveway, because of the fence being there, pretty much has to stay at the same elevation as it is now. And so the house sits quite a bit up. So the sidewalk will slope up and probably need to have a couple, 3 steps as you get up there. But yes, we were just going to do the 2 steps up into the house to keep the grade there up. So it's similar to what the house that's there now, the look.
So then could the house be lowered on the site?
Anything's possible. I think the reason the civil engineer did it this high is, of course, everything wants to slope towards the front. The rear yard is higher than the back, and so essentially what he did was put the back of the house where it's 8 inches above the grade, as low as it can be, and then it works out to where the front of it is. Now, if you started digging dirt out and making walls in the back, anything's possible, I guess, but.
Yeah, no.
Just to clarify, you do have multiple steps shown on the deck. So the driveway in the back is marked at elevation 601 and the finished floor is marked elevation in the back is 601.75 and the finished floor of your home is 603.95. So there is a couple of feet there of difference.
Yeah, I guess as you look at the plan, the upper right-hand corner of the house is the tall spot. Everything wants to drain both towards the house to the left and towards the street. But yes, we can take a look at that and certainly get the house as low as we can.
We've had quite a few comments about it. I would say, I think the materials look very nice. I think we've seen them before, but I think it would be good to continue this also so that we look at the site plan and any revisions to the house, all as one package, in lieu of going ahead and approving the architectural at this point. I don't know, are there other comments? Well, there was. Michael?
Yeah, hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time. So it's Michael Goldwasser. We live at 8144 Pershing. So we are the house immediately to the north. So I'm not speaking necessarily in favor or against at this point in time. I will note for the rear elevation where there was a lot of discussion about the stucco, and the cantilevers, we are the ones who will mostly be seeing that as we go forward. So I just wanted to say, I appreciate, I think the one board member who just pointed out that you should hold things to the highest standards on something that doesn't even have an owner or a spec'd out house at this point in time. And so I just wanted to state my appreciation for that. And again, when you were talking about the view a moment ago from the south, the east, and the west, again, we're going to be the view from the north. And so I would like to still just make sure the board considers that part as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
I have an additional question just in terms of the brick. So it looks like, if I didn't see it spec'd out specifically, it looks like there's two different sizes of the Winter Haven, this color that you're using for the brick, a wide one and a narrow one. And then also just having briefly looked at the material online, it says that this is not typically going to be a monotone white, that it's going to have some spalling that might appear or some tooling. So it might turn out to be a mix of a white and a brick color.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily shown on the rendering. So I'm wondering if it'd be possible to get an accurate representation of what it might look like, simply because I'm not familiar with this white painted brick, or sorry, this white fired brick.
Gotcha. Okay.
I actually had a question about the mortar because it's showing as monochromatic, but white mortar can be a little bit tricky in terms of dyeing it. So I'm curious your thoughts on that. Okay.
It actually has the same brick. There are a couple of spots that are a little bit red, but there is a couple of different white mortars.
Yeah. I'll look at the one across the street. Yeah. Great.
Any other comments? Do we have a motion? I move that we continue this to a future date to be determined.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We've come to the public hearing, and I believe it's a continuation of what we did last week. So we will continue the hearing at this point on the text amendment.
Alrighty. So staff have provided some revisions based on the previous discussion of commercial zoning regulations. And some of the revisions that are before you, the first is a mailing notice that has been added to the alternative compliance section. While we do send out courtesy mailings, one of the concerns was some of the consequences of alternative compliance and the ability to notify folks of what that may be. So we went ahead and added that to the language so that way, if there's ever a point where the folks sitting in the seat decide, that they don't want to do courtesy mailings, then there's still a regulation in there that requires that somebody be mailed if there's an alternative compliance section to an application in the commercial zoning districts. The second revision is related to the downtown character area. So the height and floor area ratios now differ between the north and south sides of Forsyth. Both sides have a base height, and the FAR will increase with a setback, with a step back incentive at the third floor. The revisions changed the south side of Forsyth to have a base height of 8 stories and a floor area ratio of 6. And if a 20-foot step back is provided at that third floor, the building would increase to a height of 20 stories and a floor area ratio of 13.
And where were we last time with those numbers?
Last time it matched to the north side of Forsyth.
They were the same.
Correct.
Well, that does substantially change the south side, as we were talking at the last meeting. But we are still looking at 8 stories maximum building height on the south side. and the floor area ratio of 13.
So the base, the base height that would be permitted would be that 8 stories, but if they provided the step back at the 3rd floor, then they could increase that height up to 20 stories.
And that step back is just one step back
Correct.
from floor 3 up to 20 could be a sheer wall.
Correct.
I think that's what Joel Montgomery was more or less looking for when he was here. So I think we're going in the right direction now. Other comments on that, on the downtown character area?
No comments. I like the changes.
Brian, I assume with that base being 8 stories, with the step backs up to 20 stories, presumably this could still, they could still file for a PUD and there could be changes to that. So let's just say for whatever reason, they wanted 22 stories and were able to come up with a plan for that. The PUD process would allow for that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that, I'm great with everything then.
Nothing further.
Were there other changes? I think I had something on the consumer emphasis area. Did we make any change there?
Yes, so that the only change there was we extended the secondary consumer emphasis area that follows a portion of Carondelet and connects back up to Forsyth there between the Ritz-Carlton and the Crescent.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that change also. I think that was all the things I marked up on it. I think we haven't changed any of the permitted and conditional uses. Is that correct?
There were some revisions from that were proposed last time. There were a couple of items that were changed, but there have been no revisions in this round that's been sent to you.
Okay. And the Maryland Gateway, I think we were okay with.
Yeah, you might think, so the Maryland Gateway, we just, the only change was actually putting that into a table to mirror what was in the Forsyth or in the downtown character area. But the actual recommended provisions for the Maryland character area did not change.
I'm comfortable with it. Any other concerns at this point? Okay. Any hands up? Mr. Mertens, come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city staff. My name is Christopher Mertens, ACI Bond Architects, 17107 Chesterfield Airport Road, 63005. I'm a registered architect, including in the state of Missouri. I'm here tonight regarding the new proposed consumer emphasis area, actually. Section 405.2870, item D. And again, pardon my ignorance if this has already been talked about or addressed. I met with Ryan Friday on a potential project here in downtown Clayton, and we had this conversation. So my curiosity is, was any thought given to the 50% minimum requirement for what I will call the restaurant retail portion, the consumer emphasis area, spaces on a ground level for smaller developments, where this 50% requirement could in fact kill a project, unfortunately, along the primary consumer emphasis area streets. So my thought would be, is there any thought about making this requirement applicable once the ground level reaches over a certain square footage threshold for the development? And I will say thank you for your time and your service to the city of Clayton. Thank you.
Chris, before you leave, can you define a little better how you would see that?
So we have a project right now, or a proposed project that we could potentially be doing in the city of Clayton. It sits at the, what I would call the outskirts of the primary street in an intersection. Right now, the current ground floor plate is 6,000 square feet. If we were required to provide 3,000 square feet of some sort of retail restaurant, you know, the CEA space, that would only leave our client with only 3,000 square feet of space on the first floor, which is not enough space for what they know to do or the business that they run. And that would kill the project and either move somewhere else, or as Ryan and I have just talked about, submitting it prior to approval of the pending revisions. So something to think about. Just want to make sure that the board had or had not thought about it or had any concerns or anything of that sort.
Ryan, can I ask a question? If that building, if that bottom floor plate's 6,000 square feet, would the requirement be for 3,000 square feet, or would it be just the frontage? Would it be half of the frontage of the building, which is what I thought the requirement was?
The regulation specifically speaks to the frontage, not the square footage.
Okay, so in this case, what is the frontage of your building?
We are 2 front yards.
What about the face that you're specifically concerned about?
Both. Both front yards. So the front yard sits probably about 100 feet or so, 100 feet of one frontage and probably 60 feet of the other frontage. So if I'm to say that I am now 100 or 50 feet of frontage on this, on one facade and 30 feet of facade on the other facade, you know, effectively I'm carving out that corner space for some other use. And that's taking away square footages that's available or could be available for the tenant or for the tenant. Yeah.
Okay, but it wouldn't have to be 3,000 square feet. That could be creatively done to free up more space there and have more of a public facing frontage on that building.
It is possible, yes.
Okay.
I will clarify, so for the property that we discussed, only one of the frontages is affected. However, you have described there are other properties in downtown that do have, that meet at an intersection.
Yes.
Of emphasis streets.
Correct. And excuse me, the facade that Ryan talks about is the facade that's 100 feet long. So it would be the main facade of that building that we would need to allocate for the retail restaurant CEA spaces. So.
And in this hypothetical, how would, in your ideal world, how would you lay out that building as far as in hypothetically?
In what sense? I'm sorry.
If you don't have half of that frontage being more consumer facing use, what percentage would you say would be a consumer facing use, and what would the other percentage be, and what would that possibly be used for? Architecturally, like how would that factor in?
So what we're looking at right now would have 2 front doors, a front door off of a walk. And again, you know, Clayton is very walkable, and that's the promotion, and that's 100% of what most of the business would be for this project. You'd have a walking up front door off the street that is along the CEA primary, and we have a walk-in door off the southern one. And honestly, for the use that project is, it actually is foot traffic driven, and there's a lot of foot traffic that comes in and out of that space, did come in and out of that space. And it was more retail. I mean, we had a more retail component than most, I would say.
Retail wouldn't be limiting in this case? That's what would you just describe as sound like it would cater to retail?
It is, except for the space that we're trying to provide. The use that we're trying to do is not considered a approved retail use.
Care to share a hypothetical reason?
Financial institution. Okay. So we are looking to redevelop the corner of South Beamiston and Carondelet. So anyway, wanted to bring it up, if there was any thought about that in the goings on with the revised amendment zoning ordinances, things of that sort, just to think about, you say 50% or 50% of frontage, what that could or potentially could do to small developments.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'll just add some response to that. So we
Absolutely.
can have a good bandwidth. I think it's a good point. Obviously, we don't want to deter development. However, this requirement being on that property has resulted in you thinking about the uses that it's generated and how you might design the property and how you as an architect might design the property to still get the city what we want, which is the active visitor uses. So in some ways, I feel like this is maybe doing exactly what we want it to do. And it provides pathways for you to present a design to this commission and show them how, yes, the letter of that use is not what we anticipated, but you have overcome that with other alternatives of a design. So I would hesitate to say that this one hypothetical scenario should result in modifying the design. I think maybe it's creating the exact design process that we would want.
Again, I'm not asking for a
Yeah, but
variance or anything.
I think you.
I'm asking the question of,
Yes.
has it been thought about? That's the way it came about.
I think we can also think of multiple important corners in Clayton where a financial institution exists.
Yeah.
And kind of how, certainly those could be high foot traffic, but in reality, like, have they turned out to be high foot traffic? Is that serving a pedestrian base? Is that drawing people in? Is that bringing people into the city? So maybe a creative use of space that where both these things can coexist.
I think a short answer to your question is that, I mean, I hadn't considered what you're saying. And I think it's worth bringing up. I love your answer to this. I think this is creating that kind of forcing the hand of architects to think creatively, which is what we want.
Yeah.
But I certainly appreciate you bringing that up. I mean, it's a real world example of this is something that have you considered.
Right. That's all my request was, or my only question was.
Well, thanks, Chris, for bringing it up and sitting through everything else to make your point. But also thank you, Anna. I think it pretty well clarified where we are in our planning.
And I think it'll be something that will probably be a good thing because this, has to go to the Board of Aldermen as well. So we can definitely run different scenarios to see response to that on various areas so that everybody can continue to make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Now, we're at the point, of course, we've been discussing the draft. Do we need to make more recommendations? Have you heard anything? I think we've more or less validated everything tonight.
I think Ryan has done a good job of addressing we didn't hear any additional comments other than the one expressed tonight from the previous meeting. So
I would be okay to recommend approval of the revisions as they are to the city council, not the Board of Aldermen. Any comments on that? Do we need to do it again? I mean, have it come back again or not? And
Okay, I move to recommend this to the city council.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Ryan and Anna, for your work. I think we're making great strides in improving and updating everything. Okay. Well, we have then closed the public hearing, finally. And Darren, any comments?
No, thank you.
Chris?
Nothing, thank you.
Jim?
I hate to keep everyone here a little bit longer, but this is more a question for city staff, and I don't know. Mainland Development has proposed 4 houses in the last 2 years. They have been before this board more than 10 times. Today, the site plan, they said wasn't the correct site plan, wasn't the most current site plan. They said the blueprints weren't the most current blueprints. This is systematic every single time. And that doesn't count the multiple times that I know through revisions that they've had to go to you, city staff. Is there anything that we can do to keep certain developers from just coming back and back and back, especially to not being prepared to speak to this board?
Delay in rescheduling?
I mean, I wish I had a perfect answer. I do know that a lot of times, like tonight, they fail to address comments that Ryan has sent to them multiple times. And so then it becomes, well, I'll put you on an agenda, but I'm not going to recommend approval. And they proceed in that avenue.
Yeah, and at this point, my concern is it's also systematic because this is not the first property. This isn't the second property. It's actually the 4th property in just 2 years. And I don't know, that's as far as I went back through. And we see the same pattern over and over again. At least they're bringing materials to the meetings at this point, but at one point they weren't even doing that. I just don't know if we have any recourse other than, to kind of sit here and throw our hands up and continue it to another meeting. Because here we are at 8:02 p.m., where we possibly could have gotten out 30 minutes earlier if they were either A, prepared for their meeting, or B, prepared to speak to any of this, or it was just continued to a future agenda. And I just don't know. I don't know, we might not have any recourse, and it's just up to us to be prepared and to come with a list of points to point out every single shortcoming that's here, and then hope it gets continued to another meeting. But I don't know if there's any way to head it off before then that, we are able to do.
Yeah, I don't know that I have the specific answer for you tonight, but I'll make sure to consult our city attorney for all of our tools.
We have talked about the situation, Anna and I, and tried to explore some things, not so much in terms of processing these applications as in some other concerns with permittees and permit holders. It's almost impossible. It is very difficult to establish a disciplined process. So I do not have a silver bullet for someone who wishes to put themselves through repeated processes and is not responsive. I don't have a good answer for you.
Well, something I would at least like to point out to this board is I think we have a couple different examples in the past 2-3 meetings and stuff like that, where we've pushed back on something. And they've said, well, it was worth a try, right? So we know these people, I think there's a very fine line between, what we need to do to ensure development goes through in the city. And I think we all agree that development is important in the city. But I think we have to very much remain vigilant that we don't have to necessarily give every single inch of this for development to be viable. And the reason a lot of these developments are coming forward is because Clayton is a desirable place to build. A desirable home can be built at under $2.8 million. If you look at the tear down costs of what some of these properties are being acquired for and what is being proposed on them, I just think it's very important to consider all this because otherwise then we have neighborhoods where it's a slippery slope and then all of a sudden everything is of a certain level. And in this case here, we've given up multiple cantilevers. We've given in on materials and everything like that. And I believe developers have a right to make a profit, but at the same time, we need to be considerate of what we're offering to allow that profit. And if that's 100% necessary. So sorry for taking up everyone's time. And I wish David the best. I wish he was here to his meeting. I appreciate his input on previous things and hopefully we'll still see him from time to time.
If I may, without wishing to prolong this even further, one of the problems is that it is not the prerogative of staff to make your decisions. And so we're not in a position to say, you can't proceed with this in this condition. If they have ticked the boxes, they have a due process right to have their petition move forward. It may not be successful, and we may estimate that it won't be successful, but staff does not have the authority to, on the merits of an application as you do.
That's very fair. And I will say, if the staff reports weren't as well written as they were, some of the stuff might fall through the cracks. But the thoroughness of the staff reports, Ryan, that you provide, draw attention to a lot of the stuff, and I think allow for this process. So thank you for that.
Susan.
Good.
Ellen.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi.
So, very good. Jim, you had mentioned earlier in the evening, holding the high standards that we like. And I think one high standard that we see every week are the staff reports that we get completely. They are consistently on target. And thank you, Mr. O'Keefe, for your comment. I think we do realize that the final decision has to be made here on the commission. But we have a great amount of information that we receive from Ryan and Anna. And I think hopefully we appreciate it at all times, although at times I think we don't, but that's the way it goes. So I second your happy Thanksgiving. Ryan, any comment?
So we tend to have conversations with applicants reasonably well ahead of time as to what meetings they might be applicable to or applicable for. And in the past couple of years, it's been sort of hit and miss as to whether or not we have a second December meeting because folks were traveling out of town, visiting family and such for the holidays. As we look to December, is there anybody that knows they will not be here on December 15th? If folks will be here, we'll go ahead and track projects for that meeting. But if we hear otherwise, we can always, alter things as needed.
Ask the right question. Are they going to be here or do they want to be?
Which question do you want to answer?
Sorry, what did you say, Susan?
My calendar tells me it's Hanukkah.
So that won't stop us here.
Okay.
Anna?
Yeah, just let Ryan know about that meeting, just so that we can track it. And
I mean, if there's an agenda, I mean, people, I'm sure if I were an applicant, regardless of the quality, I'd want to know that the meetings are going to happen.
right.
But I would second, though, the quality of your work on these is really impressive. I'm new to this, but it's good work.
Yeah, but Ryan does good. I am, and I'll also give a nod to Chris's comments about stormwater things earlier, as well as the residents. So we do have a public hearing at the first December meeting to show you all our draft changes to our lot coverage moving to the green space ratio and all of our stormwater. Yeah, so it's headed your way.
Well, hopefully we'll have a large audience that night.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. And visit anytime. Okay, thanks, everyone. We'll see you, what is it, December 1st? Okay, see you then. We're adjourned.